Welcome everybody to the very first video recording, which is kind of a lie because this isn't an actual live video of us. This is just a screen grab because I am going to do the spiritual tools ranking list, and I am joined by yours truly, Angelica.
Hello.
So this is going to be just a little fun activity for us to have. This isn't a serious ranking because obviously all tools are sacred and all tools are amazing. But like I said at the beginning of my podcast, I want things to be fun and enjoyable. And that's my style of teaching and my style of just living life, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. We have around 27 items. And we have our dogs here being super loud and annoying. So that's fine. But yeah, I have no idea. This is going to be a first time. So I guess it's just going to be super organic.
Yeah.
100% gluten-free and vegan. So let's definitely do it. Our dogs are sniffing all the new leather that we have going on here. All right. So Angelica, have you ever done anything like this before?
No, I haven't. I think we should explain what we're doing exactly.
Yes. So as you guys can see, or if you're listening, there's a tier list in front of us, and it goes S, A, B, C, and never used. Now, basically, this is similar to school. It's like a grading list where we will go over different sacred tools that we use, and we will put them according to either I guess S could be like the best or S could be the most used. There's many ways to actually grade these. Obviously at the bottom, never used means if this is an item that we've never used before, it would obviously be placed there. But I'm pretty sure I've used there's a few here that I have not used. And actually, yeah, there's a few here. So that is all right.
So S is going to be like our favorites.
Our favorites or our most used?
Most used.
So it'll definitely be like multi-purpose. Because obviously there's a lot that we use during our healing sessions. Mm-hmm. But sometimes some tools are called to be used and some aren't. Mm-hmm. So sometimes there's so the very first one we'll use as an example. We'll just start there.
Okay.
The first one is a pile of tobacco. For those of you that are watching, hopefully you'll be able to watch this on Spotify because Spotify has a video thing.
Oh, yeah.
A setting. So I think you just got to swipe up. I don't know. But if not, I'll also post this on YouTube and then people can watch through there. But for those of you listening, the very first one is tobacco. And so for me, tobacco is one of the 4 sacred herbs. Mm-hmm. But it's not one that I use often.
Really?
Yeah, so that's where it gets a little bit interesting for me, but I think that's where we get to play along together because let's say I'm just like, okay, tobacco is as tiered, like as a tool, but I don't use it regularly, so maybe I'll drop it down to like A or B. Or maybe you'll say that's something that you use and you'll do A, and so we'll average it out.
Yeah. I feel like mine would be like, I use tobacco every day. In any session it's always in my medicine bag. Like it depends on how we define as using it, because if I'm using it in a bundle or if I'm using it in my medicine bag.
Well, if your medicine bag, do you use your medicine bag to do healing work?
I wear it every day, whenever I'm doing any type of work.
But wearing it and using it on somebody are 2 different things.
So I guess I wear it.
Yeah. See, that's where it gets fun and interesting, right? So I would say I'm going to stick it at I would stick it at A.
I'm good with
because
that.
it's powerful, but it's not something that I use all the time.
And yeah, if we think about like if we're doing prayers or pipe ceremony or something like that, it's using tobacco.
So then it goes into the A group. See. Also, hopefully it's 333 at the moment.
Oh.
And hopefully the mic is picking up.
Yeah.
Because
I hope so.
I'm gonna scooch the iPad closer to us. All right, and next up on the list we have cedar. Again, one that it's very powerful. It's used at the Sundance. It's used on very big ceremonies, but it's not something that I use a lot.
No, me either.
Unless it's in a bundle, like a protection bundle.
Yep.
Which again, I don't always use because not everyone that I work with needs protection bundle.
Yeah. Yeah, other like nippy, ceremonies when we use it, but yeah.
So what would you rank it though?
But it's like one of the sacred.
I know,
one
right?
Of the four, we have to keep it at A.
Oh, we gotta keep it at A.
Out of respect.
Yeah. All right, here's a fun one. Now, you can't really tell. There's a person sitting in a copper pyramid.
Oh.
And I know pyramids have become extremely popular in like New Age, and everyone's like, "You gotta put a pyramid on it."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Do we though?" So, have I used the pyramid in healing? No. Have I been in the pyramids? I have.
Yeah.
But see, this is why I didn't want to make a ranking that went down to F because I was like, I don't want to be too disrespectful.
I know.
But at the same time, again, we're trying to have fun. I think personally, energetic wise, it's kind of wonky.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those things where I'm just like, I don't really think it does much.
I don't either.
Now that doesn't mean that you can't use it in a specific way. So try not to be disrespectful.
Well, there's those shoes that you can buy too. Like this is bringing me to and I feel like it's
what?
this new age thing. There's these shoes that you can buy that have copper on the soles of it. Like they're these sandals. I can't remember the name of them. And there's copper on the bottom of them, so it helps you ground. So it connects to the copper in in the earth, but I don't know how much I buy into it.
Well, this is the thing. This is where it gets interesting. We're gonna stick to just the pyramid. It doesn't have to be copper because you're talking about copper.
Got it. Okay.
Because copper is a conduit,
and
there is a thing to that. Not the shoes specifically.
Yeah.
That is definitely a marketing ploy.
Yeah.
But there was a dude that did a study about grounding and how much it helps the body, scientifically studied that it reduces inflammation, which reduces all diseases.
Yeah.
And he paid so many people to do the research, and all the research kept coming back the same, that it was helping out a lot. And so
it's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay,
but for this one,
never used.
I'm gonna if this thing will grab it. Never used. All right. Up next, we have copal. Now, copal is what they use in church. And I try to find a picture of it, and it was always these fancy ones. But basically, you put coals in the middle, and you put the copal, and they swing it around as they go down.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Blessings.
Is that what that's for?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like on Christmas, they would do it. Like in the Catholic Church, Christmas, Easter, big time on Easter.
Okay.
Yeah, it was I don't want to say it's an essential oil, but it's an anointing oil. I think that's what they call it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I never use it.
I never use it either.
Yeah. I'm going to go never used.
But I feel like we've used it in something, haven't we?
I don't think I have. You guys sell it, though, at the
shop,
shop,
sell
right?
it in the incense sticks, yes. So a lot of people will buy the copal incense sticks because it's an incense stick, and it looks like they just dipped it in, crushed copal. And that stuff smells really, really good.
Yeah.
And incense... Well, we have incense sticks,
yeah. So we'll stick with copal.
So we'll stick with copal. I've never used copal.
I never used either.
Yeah.
Now I'm intrigued, though.
It is very powerful. I tried using it here once, and I put 2 or 3 on a burning coal. The coal itself indoors, horrible idea.
Yeah,
it smelled so bad.
Yeah.
But then the smoke from this was potent. It was a lot. And so a lot of times at the shop, I tell people, I'm like, if you want to use copal at a bonfire, just toss a couple in there. It'll smell real nice.
That's a good idea.
But then also the whole neighborhood's going to smell it.
Yeah.
All right. We have shamanic rattles, or just rattles next.
I'm gonna go S.
This is S tier, yeah. This is definitely
Big
one.
Capital S.
This is one that I use all the time, no matter
Same.
what, in my healing sessions. Just because, I mean, it's something that we learn in the shamanic apprenticeship, but it's also like something that I've just added to my.
Yeah. Did you put a drum on here? Is there a drum?
Oh my god, there isn't a drum.
You didn't even put a drum. I'm like, I see a gong, but
this is my first time.
That'd be a mess. Way to go, Remy.
I'm messing everything up.
Rattle for sure. I would say I use this probably like 98% of the time.
There we go. Doing this on an iPad is also extremely annoying.
Yeah.
So good luck everybody who's actually watching this, and whoever's listening. I'm also sorry because I can't control the audio.
Yeah, hopefully it's picking it up.
Yeah, as Angelica talks away from the microphone.
Yeah, I'm gonna go closer.
Anyway, all right. So we got up next the cross.
And you look at me. How often do you use the cross?
I've never used the cross. I do have St. Michael's cross tattooed on my chest, though. So this is where things get a little interesting. But to explain, is it St. Michael or St. Peter's cross? St. Michael's cross.
I think you got St. Peter's cross.
Is it St. Peter's cross? I can't believe I'm messing it up. Yeah. So for those of you listening, I collect... how did I used to word this? I collect misunderstood power symbols, especially on my body. And St. Peter's cross is one of those because it's an upside down cross. If you don't know who St. Peter is... I don't know his whole story, which I should, but I remember he was going to get crucified for doing something against the church, or going against the church in some way, and he said, I am not fit to be crucified the same way Jesus was, so he wanted to be crucified upside down. And I think that's where people took it as like, oh, it's satanic and it's devilish, but I took it as, no, this dude was doing something good. Obviously the church back in the day was not so great. Right. So for the fact that this man stood up to the church and did something, everyone's probably yelling at me right now. This is what he did. But that's just it. It is a misunderstood power symbol because it's not a satanic symbol. It's someone who didn't see themselves as worthy as Jesus. And so he wanted to be crucified in reverse. And so I have that on my chest because I don't see myself as worthy either. There's a lot of childhood stories that come along with this, growing up, especially with my father, but I'm not going to get into that. So I got it on my chest because, again, what I strive for is to be a good person and a healer. And the cross, even though it's a very, very powerful symbol, obviously known by everybody around the world, I don't see myself as someone who should be using it. And so... Interesting. Yeah. I've never used it in anything. It's not in any altar. It's not in... I don't have any necklaces. Even growing up when my aunt bought us all gifts and one of them was a cross, I asked her if we could exchange it. Which, now I see is very rude. But it's just like, it's not something that I believed in. Even growing up.
Yeah, and we had crosses on everything. I mean, we grew up in a Catholic Italian family. So it was like our christening, our christening and our communion and everything. So I have a bunch of just gold crosses that, I mean, I don't use them. But I was going to say that, like, I prayed the rosary today, and because it's my mom's birthday, she's passed on. And and I see that the rosary is later on in our rating scale. So I'm going to say cross on its own, I don't ever use it. Okay. But it is a part of the rosary, and I'll get to that point in a moment.
Yeah, so you'll have to explain it because I don't have a rosary. But this works twofold, and we'll get to it. Yeah. All right, we have the feather fan. I can't believe I missed the drum.
I can't believe you missed the drum, too.
One of the most powerful tools. Yeah. But again, I guess I could have looked it up, but I was also stressed out trying to get this whole thing, trying to figure it out. Yeah. But feather fans, again, S tier, this is one of those tools that I use every healing session.
Every single session I use it too.
It's very powerful. For the listeners out there, I work up front at Healing Arts Metaphysical Center. Obviously, everyone's probably getting sick and tired of me saying it, but we had this one dude come in, and he was like, "Oh, I heard from this other metaphysical shop that you guys use feather fans like really aggressively, like you beat them up." And I was like, I stood up with my chest like very proud, and I was like, first of all, we use feather fans in the correct way. Like, they're not decorative pieces. We use them the way they're supposed to be used for healing purposes.
Right.
And we use turkey feathers because they are stronger feathers. And yes, they do get used up eventually and they, deteriorate over time. But our feather fans last a really long time. And he's like, oh, well, I make feather fans and I sell them. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And he's like, and the person that I was talking to said that you guys obviously use them really hard or whatever you want to say. I was getting a little upset. I was a little salty. But I was like, you know what? Rodrigo's been busy. I've been busy. No one's been making any feather fans. So let me get you my feather fan and show you what we use. Because he didn't have anything on him, but I know he was trying to sell us stuff. Which we do have a couple of Raw Moonhawk. He makes some feather fans and we'll buy from him. They're all handmade and they're good. They're really good quality. Yeah. They're up to standard to what we use. So obviously we're like, yeah, sure. And so I brought him the feather fan that my father made, and the price tag was on there. It was $150. It's a nice feather fan. Yeah. It's like 7 feathers. There's like 1 gemstone. It's a nice wooden handle. And he's like, oh, that's your price for it? And I thought he was thinking that it was too much money. And I was like, well, yeah, this is a very well-built feather fan. And it does what it's supposed to do. So, yeah, it's made by a shaman. So, yes. And he's like, oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah. So I usually make like 3 or 5 feathered fans. And I was like, well, we usually use 7. So we can use 3 feather fans too for like gentle when we have to guide the smoke for, but that was it. He disappeared. And then later on he came back. So I'm going to put this up at ST real quick. And so apparently he came back and I guess he had a website that he didn't want to show me, but he showed my dad. And he's like, these are the feather fans that I make. And so my dad was like, guess how much those feather fans were? And I was like, I don't know, how much? And he was like, $1,500. And I was like, what? And he's like, the feathers that he used, let's just say they looked like feathers that you would have on a duster. And they had really nice gemstones on them, but in a manner that would very much go against like using it,
like the actual use of it.
Yeah, so he's like, they're very decorative pieces. And he's like, I think some of them were made out of peacock feathers, and I was like, wow, those would break it.
Yeah, that wouldn't.
But I forgot the name of the god who creates the tools for the other Roman gods or Greek gods.
I can't remember.
Festus or something? I don't know. He was like, I see myself as one of those guys. And I was like, that's cool. And then I see what he does, and I was like, that's garbage. What are you doing? But again, you can see how it's become an industry. It's slowly becoming an industry. So that's real sad. Sage is next.
I use sage every session.
Yes.
Yeah. I use it. Yeah. Even if I'm just doing like psychic mediumship or... Because you're still picking up on energy and...
That's here. Yeah.
Like I use it for everything. Healing session, reading session, with my cards, without my cards.
I haven't. I think I'm going to bump this one down.
Okay.
I'll keep it up at S. Because I have it everywhere. Yeah. But I don't really use it as much. I actually use Palo Santo more. Yeah. It's not that I like Palo more. It's just I've been working with Palo Santo more. I've been working more with the South American roots lately. Yeah. Okay, now this is an interesting one. This one is the Seed of Life, but this represents sacred geometry. And I know you just recently used sacred geometry.
Yes. Yeah. I wish I knew more about sacred geometry. How often do you use it?
I have a grid upstairs on my altar.
So we use it a lot then, huh?
Yeah. If I do healing work. So that's just it. I do use it, but I don't use it a lot.
You know what? Because I've used it when I've done like bachelorette part. Yeah, it was a bachelorette party. I think there were 2 of them that I did, and I used sacred geometry to like as a blessing for the bride.
Oh,
for the
okay.
bride to be. It was really beautiful with like roses and like some crystals we did, and we just did like a beautiful meditation, but the center of it was like a blessing for the bride essentially.
Did you use like a specific shape?
I did. I actually think I use the medicine. I'm trying to think of what I used.
Yeah, the medicine wheel is
I think I used the medicine wheel.
Nice.
And it was really, I totally forgot I did that. So I feel like I don't use it a lot, but when I have, it was a really beautiful moment.
Nice. You gonna put that one on B?
B? Yeah, I was like, we gotta get some B and C's in here.
B's and C's. Sometimes if I have to do distance healings, I will use sacred geometry. Yeah. And I just realized there's so many more things I could have added. That
I know. I'm like, chumpy stones are, what are they called? Sorry.
Apu stones.
Apu stones aren't on here.
They should be on here.
I don't see them.
Oh, well.
The drum, Apu stone. Yeah, that's okay.
There's no healing dolls.
Right. Well, what's up next?
Up next, we have an Orgonite pyramid. So, Orgonite or Orgon is basically a crystal, usually a clear quartz, wrapped in copper and then set inside resin in a resin pyramid. So those of you who are watching the video, you can see that there's a silver spiral, but what you don't really see because it's such a small picture is in the back, in the middle, there is a quartz with copper wrapped around it going up. And then underneath it, there's layers of different gemstones. So Orgon or Orgonite is similar to sacred geometry in the sense that you use like the energy from the different stones focused into the crystal, and that goes upwards, which sometimes they say is good for like EMF waves too.
Okay.
And then you'll see people talk about how like when there's planes up ahead and conspiracy theory stuff, and they bring out their organs so it doesn't get no radiation. It's crazy. But again, the concept is similar to like sacred geometry or just gemstones, which I also don't have gemstones on here. Oh wait,
my gosh,
where did it go?
Crystals on? Maybe we missed some of them on here.
No, I have crystal wands.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, and we have selenites.
Okay.
But
yeah, I think that was the okay.
So yeah, Orgon. I've made some Orgonite before. They're super pretty, but other than that, I don't really.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing.
I think that might be a C.
I think that's a C.
If this will grab.
Glad we're getting some balance here.
Yeah, because that's one thing that my dad talks about a lot.
Yeah, right.
Balance.
You'd be proud.
All right, can you guess what this is?
No, I don't know what that is.
These are camphor tablets.
What's that?
So camphor tablets are used to put in the corners, the 4 corners of a room, and it kind of creates a barrier to kind of filter out negativity. So a lot of times, I've used this before, and I oftentimes suggest this for a lot of people who live with multiple peoples in their house and are like the one that pops into my head the most is like people were having their in-laws over for the holidays, which we are close to.
Yeah.
And of course, for some odd reason in the United States, the holiday get-togethers are horrible because everyone's always fighting.
Yeah.
So I don't know why people even get together, but I tell people if you want, your room should always be your safest space. And so I tell them, yes, you can sage, but I would put the camphor tablets in the 4 corners to kind of allow peace and harmony to reside in that room. So yes, you have your in-laws over and they're driving you mad. You can go into your room and be able to relax, and like that stuff won't follow you in. I like that one a lot.
That,
yeah. But the thing is, it's not something that I use often.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I should put that in B or A. I think I'm gonna put this one in B, because I don't use it as much as like tobacco or cedar. Which is interesting because cedar, I use more camphor tablets than I do cedar.
Interesting.
Right? All right. Not our first instrument. We have the gong.
I love the power of the gong.
It is super potent.
Amazing.
Yeah. But I don't use it.
I don't use it either. It's only when I'm attending
one of these
a healing or a sound bath or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. For ceremonies, it is potent.
Yeah.
But yeah, see, this is why we should mix up. Next time we'll do one where it's just ones we use and ones that are like the strength of them. Yeah. Because sound wise, it is good.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Where would you want to put this one?
I mean, I guess it would be never used, but I want to say balance. Right? I want to go with C, but no, I think it's never used.
Yeah, I've never used this either. Oh, and there goes my iPad being wonky. So thank you guys for dealing with that. All right, these are crystal wands.
Yeah, I don't use any. I'm kind of like repelling crystals at the moment. So
why?
I think the way that it's been reflected in New Age, I'm getting turned off by the actual, like, where I think my introduction to it years ago, or where my belief was in it, to where it is now. I'm just like, ugh. Yeah. It's my own stuff I'm working on.
I was right there with you. Yeah, I'm like, who are these kids?
Yeah, I'm like, gosh.
But also the concept of crystal wands, I actually appreciate. Because with crystal wands, and I know my father has used them before too, basically the concept is you use it as a way to not amplify, but like, what's it called?
I don't want to say condense, but like
concentrate. You concentrate your energy into the pinpoint of the crystal, which those of you who are watching, you can see the tip of the wand is a point. It's a crystal point. But you can also use crystal points or little crystal towers or double terminated towers, or double terminated crystals. They have a little sharp point, and like you can use that on the different parts of their body. And so I like the concept of it. It's super cool. And again, New Age has kind of taken it and like ran with it.
Gosh.
But I personally have never used crystal wands.
I have not either.
But I do appreciate the concept.
I'm intrigued. Yeah.
Never use. All right, incense.
I do love incense.
I love Nag Champa a lot. And I love that Nag Champa comes in a variety. So they have like the Palo Santo Nag Champa. They have the White Sage Nag Champa. And this is one of the items that I tell people when they ask me what do they do to clean their stones or their area. I tell them, like, you can use the smoke from incense. Yeah. Because again, you want to use the smoke. It's but I personally have stopped using Nag Champa because, one, a lot of people have allergies or reactions to smoke now.
Yeah.
So I usually stick to essential oils. Oh, essential oils.
Even essential oil, yeah. You know what's interesting though? Like even in healing sessions, like I always have to ask if they have sensitivities to like smells or to smoke, because like you're saying, some people do, and then you have to kind of shift around like your approach to.
Oh, I don't do that.
Really?
Yeah. Well, sometimes. I also don't really use a lot of smoke in my clearings.
I don't use a lot of smoke either. But even if it's just like, you know, if someone has asthma and if I'm setting the room up for them and they walk in and they have a sensitivity, like I'm always mindful of that.
That's a good.
So I always give it enough time to like do its thing and then they come in. But then I always ask like if they have sensitivity. And I will say like, I'd say 85% they don't. Like my own clients don't, you know, up to this point. So it hasn't been too much of an issue. But yeah, even like, or if there's like a pregnant woman or something, or if you're doing, you know, like if they're sensitive to essential oils, like I'm always really mindful of what I'm using. Yeah.
What do you think about C for this one?
C, I like that.
Because
I want to work with that a little more.
Yeah, they smell amazing. Guys, isn't this perfect?
Oh, there we go.
I need to just get a laptop. I'm tired of this iPad. All right. The next one is tea light candles, but to me it also represents fire.
Yeah. This is every single session,
yes,
no matter what.
Every single session.
I always have a candle lit.
Because this is where when working with energy, I throw everything to the fire.
To the fire, yeah.
Yeah, and having candles everywhere is a lot helpful, so I don't have to get up and walk to the other side of the room. Yeah, I really like that one.
Yeah.
All right. We agreed. So, river stones.
Gosh, I want to go with A on this because I don't use them every session, but I use them quite often.
Yeah, I agree. River stones are one of those that it's extremely helpful with grounding. But every time I have a session, I don't always bring them out.
Yeah.
But more often than not, the person needs grounding, and the stones will be like, it's my turn to come out. Yep. Yeah, but not every single time. Correct. All right. This is, I forgot the name, but I think you have this rattle. Yeah.
I do.
What are the shell, or what are the nuts?
I can't think of it.
I can't either. This is a good one, similar to rattles, but these guys are a lot louder.
They're very loud.
They're a little bit more aggressive, right?
They're a little crunchier, yeah. Like I'm honestly, when I'm using that rattle, it's like crunchy, meaning like it's really gonna like crack some stuff up. You know, like that energy. Like you're really kind of like cracking some stuff.
I tell my students to picture like you're cracking creme brulee.
Yeah,
like it's a hard layer.
Yes.
You really want to,
and you need to like really get in there. But as far like clearing the bed too after a session, like I use that rattle all the time. It's a beautiful way to clear.
So you want to do S or A?
I'm gonna go A because I do use it every single time. Oh, hi, Mitches. Okay.
And there's our dog coming in. Why won't you let me grab you? You said A?
A. Oh, yeah. A's good.
All right. And Palo Santo. Oh. See, for me, this is an S also because I use this one. Why won't you do this? Oh, God. Yeah, I actually use Palo Santo a lot more. Especially, I feel like a lot of people that I've been working with kind of need that sweetness when they come in. And it's very calming for them. So I don't know, just for me, Palo Santo's just been really calling me, especially since recently, for like the past year or so, I've been diving into a deeper connection with my ancestors. And so, but I still love sage. Don't get me wrong, sage is still like top, but recently I've been on like a Palo Santo kick.
I have noticed it does bring a lot of calm to people because of the scent. Like I was working with, I think my clients were Greek and like they were Orthodox and something else, but it reminded them of their culture because like that it reminded them of like the oils, the anointment oils we were talking about from church. So it was like they were instantly like they were ready for the session. You know,
good,
it was nice. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, the rosary.
I mean, I'm gonna go with like maybe C.
Oh, really?
B.
We can go with B.
Now
this is where it gets where it gets interesting because to me, the rosary is very, very similar to mala beads. Yes, and mala beads have become very popular because of yoga, and people have turned yoga into industry. Sadly, so it's another one of those tools where people are like, I'm super like spiritual. These are my mala beads, and they've never meditated with them once.
Yeah.
Every mala necklace that I've had, I've meditated with at least once.
Yeah.
Because that's just how they work. And obviously I keep wanting to say rosemary. The rosary is the same thing. Like it's used for prayers, but also a form of meditation. You're setting intentions, right?
Well, it's a couple different ways. I would say the most traditional way is like out of respect of, I believe, the 5 stages of the cross of when Jesus was crucified. So you're actually praying through the 5 stages of his suffering. And it's to him, to Father, the God, and this is Catholic, religion, and then to Mother Mary. So for like mercy and forgiveness and things like that.
Doesn't your rosary have Mary on it?
So mine, she's the center. I don't know the name of it because it's the cross and then there's a flat, like, not stone, like of her on it. So yes, they're both on there. I love to use, like, I will say the rosary. It's interesting that we're having this conversation because I've had a few clients recently who are like Italian Catholics. And I found myself, like, whenever I'm setting up for a session that day, I'll start to receive guidance like earlier in the day and I know it's for my client. So either a song will come on and I know it's a message from a loved one or it's a message for them or whatever it is. And as I'm prepping, I've actually grabbed my rosary and prayed it for them. Like I used it as part of the healing for them.
Yeah.
And also for myself because I connect with it very deeply too. So I do more recently, now that sort of my connection has evolved to what it is, I do use it more of an intention and as a connection to Mother Mary.
Nice.
So yeah.
There you go. That's
so
awesome.
When I'm really calling in that, like when I really need that support and that motherly energy, then I reach for that. So I would say I probably use this like B.
B? All right.
I do love the rosary. And mine's like rose. So it just smells good. Yeah, it's nice. I love
That's
it.
awesome. No, and I'm glad that we can have these kind of, because I don't know anything. My mom knows a lot about rosaries. I don't know shit. All right, the next up is, do you know what that one is?
No.
It's Kananga water.
You mentioned this the other day because you were selling it to someone, and I don't know what it is.
So Kananga water is similar to Florida water, which is in 2, so we'll get back to that. But what Kananga water does that Florida water doesn't do is Florida water and Kananga water are floral waters that help cleanse heaviness and energy that's kind of stuck on you. Now, Florida water removes everything. Think of it as like a very deep cleaning. So a lot of the people who have a heaviness in their heart, especially, all of that is pulled away and they're kind of left with a void in their chest. And sadly, as humans, when we have something that we've held onto for so long removed, we start to crave something that fills it. So think of it like a security blanket, but the security blanket is like very toxic. So what Kananga water does is same thing, it removes everything, but instead of leaving the void open, it fills it with joy and happiness. So that way, especially with if we think of breakups with toxic people as the metaphor, Kananga water is a way of completely removing that and giving you a brand new security blanket to help you feel loved and hugged and taken care of. Whereas Florida water is just a very sharp, it removes everything. It takes everything,
it really moves
everything. So Kananga water isn't something that I use all the time, but it is something that I would keep around the sea area, because more times than not, I use Florida water. Whereas Kananga water, not so much. And again, it's one of those similar to the camphor tablets. I suggest it a lot, but the Kananga water I don't even suggest as much as the camphor, because again, not everyone's going through the same stuff.
Yeah.
So I would go with C.
If you have any, so we can use some.
Yeah, I have some. We have some at the shop.
Yeah.
Well, I'll put it at C because you've also never used it, so that kind of averages out. All right, selenite is next.
So this is where my love-hate relationship is with crystals at the moment. But I will say this. I have a selenite angel that someone had gifted me.
Okay.
It's really beautiful. Unfortunately, my cat knocked it off of the counter, so one of her wings popped off.
Which cat?
Fred. Of course, Fred. He's always the mischievous one. But what I will say is the only way that I use selenite is I put it with my rose quartz, and I do use it in a sense of balancing things, because you can use it as a clearing things.
Yeah, selenite is almost specifically used for clearing.
Just for clearing.
It's the only gemstone that it has self-clearing properties.
Yeah, so you don't need to sage it or do anything. So I will keep it near other stones.
Yeah.
But that's the only way that I use it.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
I've never waved it over. So you've been cleansed. So to C for this one?
I guess C,
a strong C.
Because it does feel good. And it will call specifically, and I'm okay, it's very rare, but yeah.
And we're up to Florida water. And again, that's not the state of Florida. It's Spanish for floral.
I'm going to go S on this one.
You're going to go with S?
Oh, A or S, because I would say it's 90% of the time.
Yeah, I almost always have it.
Yeah.
I've not recently, but for a couple of years now, I've been using it a lot more on the feather fan to kind of give that nice smell, the scent. So yeah, we can remove that one. All right. Do you know what this one is?
Is this red light therapy?
It's not red light therapy. No? These are chakra lights. And you have 7 light bulbs with a colored crystal or just a colored glass. I don't know. I've seen them in person when we used to go to conventions, people would pull this huge thing out, and you just kind of like lay underneath, and the colors balance your chakras.
I'm gonna go with an F on the hard F, capital F.
A hard F, never used.
We don't have F, but yeah. I'm gonna say hard pass.
Hard, get the hell out of here with that shit. Oh no, you stay right there. iPad. All right, we have tinctures.
I do really like these. I've never used them.
Oh, okay.
I've been on the receiving end of them, and I really do enjoy them.
I use them, but I don't use them all the time. I'll sometimes switch between tinctures and the singing bowl, which is in a couple.
Love the singing bowl, yeah.
I think a B would go.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I do use them, and you don't use them.
I think B is good.
Wait.
What just happened?
What's happening?
Oh, there they are.
Oh, it's over here. Yeah. Get over there. All right. Can you guess what that is?
Is that holy water?
It is holy water.
Oh my gosh.
The Holy Spirit water.
Oh, gosh. Well, Remy, what do you think?
I've never used it.
So, I've used it once, and it was at the request of a client.
Okay.
And I
Listen, no one's judging you. I'm just no. No,
this
is judging you.
This is what's interesting is, I think when I was really repelling the Catholic traditions and all of that, I was always like, this is dumb. Like, this is not, you know what I mean? But then I also remembered the sacredness of the energy and intention behind someone who would be creating it.
Yes.
And I my heart softened for it a bit.
Yes.
So as far as like working with it as like a sacred tool, I respect it in that realm. Mm-hmm. So I would say like a C on this.
Okay.
Because I have used it once, maybe twice. But it
looks cool in the glass container.
Yeah.
And I respect water and the intention when setting with water. So again, I love the concept.
Same thing. Yeah. Right.
But holy water, I've never used. I like it in Constantine when he's got it in those cool round ones.
But it is cool because usually it's like in a beautiful structure when you walk into a church to like bless yourself with it. Yeah. But I do like how you said, like, it's the same thing where like it's just intention of. Mm-hmm. So I do think it is a beautiful sacred tool.
That's why I chose that cool picture.
Yeah, I like it.
Not because nowadays I think it just comes in like a little plastic.
It's a little plastic thing. Yeah, that's what it was too. I'm like, oh god.
If I had used that would have been. All right, sweetgrass.
So I only use sweetgrass with my pipe.
Yes.
So that's really the only, because the way that we've learned about it as far as it sort of welcoming in.
It pulls everything to you. Yeah. And yes, I don't use it unless it's for the pipe, which I just recently broke. It's my first time. But I do carry sweetgrass with me in my car and in my backpack. So I've always had sweetgrass on me. Yeah. But I never use it. So
this is interesting. Like, you can feel the sacredness of it, but as far as like using it beyond that, I would say is only when we're working with our pipe.
Yeah, I'm gonna put this one at A only because it's literally something that I've always had on me. Yeah, it's literally my favorite smell.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
If I could make a cologne of sweetgrass, I would. It would be but every oil or concentrate of sweetgrass, it doesn't smell like sweetgrass at all, and I'm just All right, and that brings us to our very last one. I know, I feel like I should have put more on, but we'll revisit this. We'll see how this one goes, and if you guys love this, we'll definitely do another round. You see how fun it is, though?
Yeah, like, it is cool.
It's a lot better when it's more organized.
You did
but thank you. This is singing bowls.
I like this. I love sound.
Yeah. I have a singing bowl in my room.
Yeah. I've used it quite a bit on people, in particular in like the solar plexus, or like if I'm clearing a room. I've used it to clear a room before, but I have used it in certain areas. It's been very gentle, beautiful. Yeah. Breaks through kind of.
Me, I will end it with my sessions usually with a singing bowl or with the tinctures. So this is where it gets interesting for me because I have both a singing bowl and a tincture in my room, my healing room, which makes me want to bring this up to a B because I do use it. It's not as often as everything else. So should I keep it at?
No, I was hoping you were going to say B because your father would be proud of the balance of our grading scale right here, because look at that. That's almost...
Now, here's the thing. Looking at this again, would you move anything?
I don't think so. I wish we had the drum on there, because drum would be an S. I use that 99% of the time. Our Mesa, we didn't put Mesa in there.
We have not put Mesa bundles in there. That's all right. This is the first one, and I feel like we should invite someone to come on here and do it with us.
We should have Carmen come on.
Yeah, we should.
I love Carmen's perspective. I would love to.
And also, Carmen, we need to get Carmen anyway because she's level 10.
Yeah, she's way.
And she's gonna, because that's what we talked about in class last time. Is like, what do you guys do after this class?
Yeah. Because
level 5 or level 6 is the last level that I was in, and then everybody kind of left, and so I had to. That's when, again, I talked about it in class. That's when I stopped being in the course and I started doing like my own clinicals and healing work on people.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to run that with all of you guys again. That's gonna be super fun.
Yeah,
but
it's amazing.
At the same time, my father has like reprogrammed it so many times that I feel like I've done all of it. I've just never done it in like a class setting.
Clinical, yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and upload this to YouTube and the Spotify's, and hopefully you guys have enjoyed our little fun tier list. We're definitely gonna do this again. This was a lot more fun. This was great.
Oh, that's great.
We'll definitely polish it up a lot more next time because right now I didn't want to keep it so severe. But again, this is more like people do this to get their opinions out. This isn't like matter of fact stuff.
Right.
And
this is just this total opinion.
Yeah. And I think we'll be able to put a better grading scale next time and kind of change things up again.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining me as always, and I hope you all have a great week, and I will definitely put more episodes up regularly. I have been super busy lately, so I've been missing every other week now, but I'll be back to your normally scheduled programming.
I was just going to say that.
All right, you guys have a good one.
Bye.